Good morning, welcome, and happy Mother's Day. I'm so excited. We are going to be starting a new ministry in the fall. It's called Embrace Grace. And these are all the wonderful women that are partnering to, thank you. These are all the women that are partnering to get this started. In the Bible, it says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that the Lord knows who you are and he forms you in your mother's womb. And so this is an opportunity for us to love on young women who are pregnant. So Kathy Ward, Donna Funk, Nicole Ghana, and Cindy Fromholtz are all part of the team. There's a couple women who are coming to 11, but we just wanted to let you know a little bit about it, and we're going to show you a video.
I'm Amy, president of Embrace Grace, and I am super excited because you guys are starting an Embrace Grace support group at your church. So what is that? That is a group for women with unexpected pregnancies, and you guys are going to be welcoming them into your church. There are women in your community that are pregnant and scared, and they're not really sure what to do, where to go, and this is an opportunity for you to be the hands and feet of Jesus for them. So we need your help in spreading the word, looking for women in your communities that might be experiencing an unexpected pregnancy, and posting it on your social media, telling your friends about it so that they all know that your church is a safe place for these women to go to be empowered, to be supported, to be discipled, to hear about their rescuer, Jesus, and to know that they can be the moms that God created them to be. You are going to see lives changed. You're going to have front row seats to miracles, so get ready for that. Also, connect with your church's leader on how you can get involved with your support group at your church. There are volunteer opportunities. Maybe you could buy a gift for the baby shower that you guys are going to throw. Or maybe you could provide a meal for one of their classes, or just there's many opportunities that are available. Just check with your local leader on how you can get involved. Thank you guys for saying yes to this group and for being a safe place for these moms. We are so excited to see what God's going to do through your group. Lives are going to be saved and generations are going to be changed.
Good morning. I'm Nicole Ghana, and I'm here to tell you my story. So back in high school, I was kind of going down the wrong path. I was drinking and lying, and the one question that my mom asked me was, "Are you having sex?" And I always said no. No matter what, I always said no. So my parents decided to go out of town and trust me and left me home alone, and I went to a party, and 3 months later, with no period, I ran cross country. I didn't have the regular period, so I was like, what is going on with my life right now? So a friend of mine took me to a place called Advice and Aid, and at Advice and Aid, they do pregnancy tests, and my pregnancy test came back very quickly. So then another friend of mine took me to an abortion clinic, and the doctor said, or he did a sonogram on me, and he said, "Do twins run in your family?" And I said, "I have no idea." And he said, "Well, they do now." He said, "You are 12 weeks and 4 days, and we stop abortions at 12 weeks, but we can still do it." So after that, I went home, and I went to my mom. She was cleaning out her closet, and I'll never forget this day because I said, "You're either going to kill me, kick me out of the house, or help me." And then I said, "I'm pregnant, and it's with twins, and I'm having an abortion." And she looked at me and she said, "No, you're not." I knew I wasn't. I grew up in the church, and I was just scared to death. So I begged my mom to help me tell people. So we told my stepdad, Joe, and he wanted so much for me. So he went outside and, sorry guys. He went outside and cried because he just wanted so much from me. My baby sister at 7 years old, when my mom told her, we found out that she knew how you have babies. So at 7, that was a shock. And then my sister Megan She was a freshman, and she heard all the rumors that anybody would have. I had AIDS, I had STDs. So pregnancy caused a lot of problems in my family. So then I went and told the girl's dad, and he said, get an abortion or else. And so then 5 months later, my beautiful twin daughters were born. Their names are Reese and Ryan. My church family is who I needed the most at that time, and I pushed so many people away, so I stopped going to church when I needed them the most. Then I went to cosmetology school because I needed to take care of my kids, and at 22, I bought my first house. A lot of great years in this house for the three of us. In 4th grade, my daughter Ryan started cutting. She showed signs of mental illness. And in 7th grade was the first time she tried to commit suicide, and that was the first time of many, many times. So I started not to believe in God anymore. I struggled a lot with the why. I always say when I go to heaven, my first question is going to be why? Why me? I tried for years to get her help. So I found a new church, and in Ryan, in so many ways, ruined that church for Reese and I. So we stopped going again. I just kept wondering, why me? So then a big event happened in our lives. So we moved out of our house. It made me again evaluate my Lord and why this happened to me. So Reese and I moved into a townhome, and a good thing happened. I know everybody with the 2020 pandemic, it was horrible, but I got 8 weeks with my daughter Reese that I would not have gotten before she went to college. Then we find out that Ryan's pregnant, and then Reese went to K-State. It was an emotional roller coaster. Then I met my amazing husband, Grant, and we had 2.5 months alone, and then December 1st, Lila was born. She was 29 days old, and the state took her. I got this beautiful little girl that God created. We were so thankful. And in Grant and I's new relationship, he was there every step of the way. Grant proposed with Lila wearing a onesie that said, Miko, will you marry my grandpa? Because at that time, we were Miko and Grandpa. So we got married. Then we decided while we had Lila, we might as well try to get pregnant. So then we had a baby boy, Graydon. 10 days later, after we had Graydon, we adopted Lila. Our family finally felt complete. Now Graydon is almost 2, and Lila just turned 4. Reese just got married to my amazing son-in-law. They have been together since they were in 7th grade. And now they just bought a house, and she's in law school. Life is pretty good. Bad and good days, but that is life. So I hope and pray I left a profound legacy to my girls and now my littles. Every day being a mom is hard and emotional, but I hope I have a lasting impact in their lives. Now to talk about Embrace Grace. This is why my mom and I were so excited that Donna, Michelle, and Denise thought of us. It's so close to our hearts. And I feel we can help so many women through this scary journey. In the midst of everything going on, these girls are seen and never overlooked by the one who created each and every one of these women. Take hold of these reminders. You are chosen, Ephesians 1:4. You are loved, John 15:9. You are worthy, Matthew 10:30 and 31. These brave mamas are made for more. God's plans for them are greater than we can ever imagine. We hope that they can embrace every moment and know they are truly loved. Let's help these girls be brave. So this is how it works. Single women has an unplanned pregnancy. They go to the Wyandotte Pregnancy Center for help. The center gives her love box and invites her to a group. She attends an Embrace Grace group at Vineyard. Our church throws a big baby shower. She receives salvation and heart is healed. Baby is born and generations are changed. And mom is now a part of our amazing church family and is so loved and supported. So we have a booth or a table in the back with a sign-up sheet. And this is how you can help. Lots of prayer, and we have a binder back there, and if anybody is able to, if anybody's a plumber or an electrician or a babysitter, anything like that, we are going to make this big binder for these girls so that they can contact people if they need an oil change or if they need a babysitter, anything like that. So if anybody can help, we have a sign-up sheet in the back. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you're awesome. Yeah, thank you for your courage. I hope you probably picked up on, from me, the key phrase was, and then to change their family for generations, right? And so that's what we're talking about today as we talk through this, and it's challenging and encouraging for you to start it off and to hear how you've chosen to do that. And so we're actually going to have a panel of some women up here to share just this idea of like building a legacy in our families, in our community, in our church, right? Because we're always leaving something for the people that are coming, whether they're our family or our kids or our neighbors or just we're always leaving something for somebody. I think that's one of the biggest kind of things that we forget, is that we affect other people just in huge ways. And so today we're going to talk a little about legacy. And so we have these 4 women that are going to come up. But Philippians 4:9 says, "What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you." Powerful stuff. And the interesting thing is they're going to do it anyways, especially your kids, right? The things you do and they see, they're going to do them anyways. And so what we're going to talk about today is several topics that these women have decided to talk about. So give them a hand as they come up. So, okay, good. So, to start off, you guys have some great things to say, but I just want to start off with something fun. So, Michelle, if there was one talent that you don't have that you could have, what would it be?
I think I would definitely love to be a great singer. I love worship, but make a joyful noise is more my speed.
Okay, all right. Wendy?
I think I come from a super crafty family and a creative family, and I have my own ways of being creative, and I've learned that, but man, my mom and dad are super creative, and she can describe something, and my dad can make it, and I would love to have those skills.
You guys both took mine. So mine would also be to be able to sing, or be musical, or be creative and crafty, because my mom is also very crafty, but I think that did not get passed along to me.
I wish I was more of a cook and less of a trophy wife.
There we go. All right. It's good. It's good. High five. It's good. Yeah, it's good. So, all right. Thank you. So, Michelle, why don't you start with this one? So, as a woman of faith, what is a legacy you're trying to build in your family?
So one of the things...
Hold up the mic.
Oh, sorry. For me, one of the things that I grew up with an amazing mom, and she was so gracious in providing her presence. I knew that when I would come home from school, she would be there, and I would have milk and cookies every day after school, and she would listen to my stories of the day, whether it was good or bad, and I found that with Jesus, he's always present, and he always wants to listen, and so that's my legacy that I try and provide to the people who I know, whether it's my neighborhood or my friends, but most especially to my family. I try and make sure that I provide presence and letting them know that they're the most important person while I'm with them.
So, other ladies? other ladies as well, as a woman of faith, what is a legacy you're trying to build in your family?
So I feel like there's lots of things, but I remember my mom always saying, you can be kind to everyone. You don't have to be everyone's best friend, but you can be kind to them. And I say that to my boys now. And my mom always also said, sorry, they're here today. My mom's here today. She also said, you never know what's going on in someone's life. And maybe there's a reason why they behave or talk the way they talk, because you don't know what's happening in their home. And so that's... I keep looking at my mom. Sorry, Mom, I'm not going to look at you. So I try when my boys come home and say something that happened at school to say, we don't know what they're learning at home. We don't know what's being said to them, but you can be kind. And so I hope my boys are learning that.
As a woman of faith, what is a legacy you're trying to build in your family?
Sure. So very similar, just that my boys go out into the world and that they love the people around them. And they love them well, and that they know that they are loved and that they are here for a purpose, and they were perfectly and wonderfully made, and they are the way they are for a very specific reason, so that when they doubt themselves or feel like they're not good enough at something, they know that God made them just the way they are for a very specific reason.
So I'm the token old person. We all see it. And your legacy changes when you have 5-year-olds, and I'm 72 and have a 41-year-old. But overall, I would want my children not particularly to, well, let's just say, I'm not that person that makes Mickey Mouse out of pancakes. I don't put love notes in their lunches. I'm not that person. But I want them to learn to be cheerleaders for the underdog at school, across the world, and just learn to be good disciples of Christ. My favorite Bible verse is Micah 6:8, and it's, God has shown us, O mortals, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to act justly, that's not that hard, to love mercy or kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. If you can do those 3 things, pretty good standing, I think, with God. So I'd like to, I hope they remember me for that. Yeah. I didn't make that up. God did.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I love what all of you shared. Wendy, for yours, I really resonate with that, because you don't know what's going on in their life, is that there was the way that I met Christ at a Vineyard church in San Luis Obispo, California, but then it was these moms that loved Jesus that would invite me into their homes and feed me, and I was the kid, look, you don't know what's going on in his life, I was just a mess, and it was so it was women like you that just were really, really, really patient with me, and opened up their families. So yeah, thank you. So, so we've talked about goals, but what's been a challenge in building a legacy in your family? Because these kind of things, you guys you're great moms, and we've got incredible moms in our church, but the reality is we know that there's challenges, right? So what are challenges that you have experienced?
I had the mic. I think for me, it's just busyness, forgetting to slow down, forgetting to talk about it on a daily basis, and getting caught up in all the sports and activities and all the things, and also just my own sin nature, and that getting kind of pointed out to me on a daily basis with my boys, and losing my patience and not being the mom that I always want to be. But I think that also helps point me back to God, and hopefully helps demonstrate forgiveness and what that looks like, and that I'm still very much a work in progress to my kids and my family. So yeah.
I think one of the things for me is expectations. I have 3 boys, and I did not expect to walk down Costco's aisles with them wrestling their way through, and other parents staring at me going, "Get them under control." So expectations of them that were unfair, and expectations of myself that were also unfair, and not being able to recognize my family is not going to look like everybody else's family, and to love my boys for who they are and for who God made them to be, and to give myself grace, because I am not the Pinterest mom that has everything. It's more of the nailed it and it looks like a hot mess kind of thing.
I'm so grateful for you because I have the younger boys who are wrestling and wild and full of energy. If you've ever seen them running around, they don't stop. I think for me, Mike and I remind ourselves a lot that like we are running this huge marathon and we're not going to see the seeds we're planting maybe for a while. So we're learning, and we encourage each other to count our small victories. And I mean, even as simple as we left the house on time with everyone dressed and everyone fed. So the other day they were arguing in the basement, and I waited, because that's my other thing is like, I want to jump in and solve all the problems, but I'm not going to teach them if I do. And I waited and I listened to him, and I heard Luke say, "Let's just forgive each other and play." And I thought, oh, yes. So I have to remind myself to just be patient and to remember that we may not see the fruit of all of this for a while, but like the seeds are going to take root, and we're going to make progress, and we can count our small victories.
Also, I'd like to give a little unsolicited advice to not compare your parenting to anyone else, because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Everyone grows hair. So you might have a bald baby and you might have a full head. Everyone gets teeth, so it doesn't matter who gets them when. Everyone learns to walk and everyone learns to read. So just chill, and everybody ends up pretty much the same down the road. You don't need to panic about that stuff. Although my kids are a little bit higher than... I'm just saying, if you knew them, you would, they're pretty amazing.
They are pretty awesome, yeah.
Just saying.
So I'm going to have you start on the next one. True story, though, Michelle's not just making stuff up. There was several times when our boys were younger, and it was just like, here, take them, because they would, like, not just like a little bit of stuff, like they're in the aisle, like wrestling across the store. So yeah,
Don't judge.
yeah, true stuff. So, and that was just last week. So Donna, what are some joyful moments that you've had?
Oh, I can't
being a
share.
parent?
I can't share.
Yeah.
We have a fun family, and I have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. They're each other's greatest cheerleaders and their biggest critics. And so it's just a lot of fun. There's shenanigans still every day. And to hear them now as adults remember things, most of the stuff's not true. They add spice as we go. But they're just a whole lot of fun, great sense of humor, and not shy about... I really want them, when Ken and I are gone, to... gone as in dead. Not at Costco, to gone, to just out of here, that they will continue to love each other as much as they do now, and that would be a lovely thing, lovely legacy.
Yeah.
I forgot the question.
What
was fun?
Joyful moments of parenting,
yeah,
or
just
grandparenting.
that's a good one. They're pretty amazing too. They just bring more joy in a lot of regards because you have the time. Time is such a thief, and as a grandparent, all you grandparents know, you just bask in it. It's be joyful, choose joy every day, and you'll find it.
Let me ask you, is there something you'd do differently now, because, right, so you parent your kids, and then you kind of feel like, okay, that was good, this was, but now grandparenting, to a certain extent, you get to kind of a second chance. Are there things that,
Well, I used to throw pitchers of water at my daughters after they'd straighten their hair if they wouldn't behave. And that was, I won't do that to my grandchildren. It was an ugly moment.
Yeah.
But I got their attention and I won. And that's important, mothers, that we win. You're rethinking and picking me, aren't you? Oh, sure, there's things you wish you hadn't said, hadn't done, but, I know I have one granddaughter and 5 grandsons, and they asked me if I liked my granddaughter the most, and I responded yes, because it's important they learn how to deal with disappointment early.
It's good. It's good. So, like joyful moments. Yeah.
Okay. Like every day is craziness in our house with 3 boys. There's always a lot of joy and chaos. Lots of shenanigans. Watching them grow, seeing their personalities come through, because they're all 3 really, really different, has been so fun. Even like the 4-year-old, and I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and just seeing how they change and their different personalities, and then their interests and what they are good at or want to be good at. And seeing them accomplish those things. So like my 8-year-old just got his yellow belt, or he's almost 8. So he's really excited about that, and he's worked so hard for it. So that just happened this weekend. And then, our 10-year-old with soccer. And then also just seeing their growth with, their relationship with each other and how much they love each other. That's something I'm really proud of, is how well they take care of each other. So maybe that's part of my legacy too, is just how their relationship together, and that's really joyful. And then also seeing their growth with Jesus. We got to see them get baptized on Easter, the 2 older boys, so that was amazing. And of course mixed in is, all the potty training and teaching them that they have to go inside to do that, and may at least go to the backyard if they're going out, things like that. But at the same time, it's really joyful too. It's just funny and things that I think I'll remember, when I'm older and they're older. So lots of joy in our house and chaos, and it's very loud.
I think probably one of the most joyful things for me is watching my boys touch lives. It's such a privilege for us to see them and how they love so well, how they go out and they care for people, and it's a gift. And then we love, like when we do 5th quarter here at the church, we all come back to the house, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're all just sitting around chatting about, oh, did you see this person and what they were doing, and just having a good time. I feel like when we plan things, it usually becomes a little bit more stressful, and my expectations are too high and it doesn't go as well. But when everybody just joins in the living room and hangs out, we love each other. We love being together, and love harassing each other, and just in general hanging out and having a good time. So those are some of my most joyful things.
We too have a very loud house with a lot of chaos with 2 boys. I'm also, like Jen, really proud of the relationship they have at this point. They're 6 and 7, so they're super close together, and they're turning into each other's biggest cheerleaders, and they love each other so much, and so I am very proud of that. The things they say, The things that come out of their mouth as they're learning their world and trying to figure out their world. One of them asked me if it's illegal to kiss someone you are not married to. My answer, of course, was yes. It is illegal. But the thing, as they're exploring their world and just figuring out what they like and what they're interested in and just trying to understand everything going on around them, it's really fun to see how they perceive things. And we try really hard to instill them. You can come to us with anything, and we want you to tell us things. But also, I love our days at home. Just when the four of us are at home together and just enjoying that time. And our boys ask for that. They ask for days when we just are home together as a family. And so we have a lot of fun on those days.
Yeah, good. A question. This this is a little different than what's on here. So I know you guys will do great. So, the verse you read, what you have heard and what you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, Paul writes, practice these things and the God of peace will be with you. So a lot of discipleship of our kids and in Jesus has to do with what's caught, right? Typically, a lot of times kids, what they're doing is they're just imitating their parents. I mean, if we're all to be honest. So much of what kids do is imitating their parents. And that has to do with faith too. But so what is maybe one or two things that maybe you've done intentionally to grow and encourage a life with Jesus with your kids?
So I think prayer is something we try. We are not perfect at any of this. We are a work in progress too. And so prayer is something we try to incorporate with them. We also try to make sure that we are pulling out our Bible together and looking at it. But I think one of the biggest things that Mike and I have tried really hard to do is make sure our kids know that we are also not perfect. And my parents modeled this for me too, but humbling ourselves to our kids and being willing to say, hey, you know what, I messed up and I'm sorry. Yes, I'm still your parent, but I mess up too. And I love you and I respect you and I want to let you know that I'm sorry and we can make this right and I'm working to do better. And I hope that my kids see that we were willing to just not be perfect parents, but be honest parents and be parents that, asked for forgiveness when we needed to. And we want our boys to learn that, and we practice that with our boys when they wrong each other or hurt each other. We try to work with them on how to ask each other for forgiveness and offer that.
I think in our household, we're a pastor's family, so of course you think we probably have devotions every morning with our kids, and we open up the Bible and everything looks beautiful, but our kids are usually fighting over who gets to read the word or who gets to pray first, and so it usually does not go super well. And so I think it's been more the trying to be authentic with them and say, I'm struggling. I don't understand. When Nicole was up here and she shared, I've had moments where I struggle with the Lord, and being honest, and then reminding them, remember we prayed about that. Let's go to God and thank him for that because he answered that prayer, and trying to remind them of the in-between, that it's okay to rejoice with him. It's okay to weep with him, and just trying to show them that God, he's a person. And we have a relationship with him. That's what he wants from us. He's not this far distant being that doesn't want to know us, but he knows the number of hair on your head. And I tell my boys that verse all the time, just to remind them that God knows you intimately. So be who you are with him, and let's go to him together with prayer, whether it's good or bad or anything in between.
I feel like I'm going to be an echo chamber. So very similar things. We do try to pray with our boys, and again, sometimes life gets in the way or we forget. We have little devotionals we try to do with them in the evening, and sometimes the 4-year-old is all over the place, jumping all over the bed, distracting the big boys, and we just hope little bits of it are getting in. And again, we don't do that perfectly or every night or anything. And then just walking out our own faith and, bringing them to church with us and bringing them to do the different things that we do to volunteer with church, and so that they see that and it's just a part of life. It's not anything that different or out of the ordinary, that's just how we live, is what I hope that they see. And then the same thing, the authenticity of letting them know that we're human. We do a lot of apologizing. I do a lot of apologizing to my kids and how I handle different situations, and then hopefully demonstrating that they know that we have a God that we can go to and that will forgive us. And instead of running away, we can run to him. We were just talking about that last night, because I feel like that's something that I always struggled with. And I don't, I want them to see that they don't have to struggle with that, and that we're demonstrating what that looks like. But again, I don't do any of it perfectly, and that's part of what I want them to know too.
Well, in our family, we're all up in the business of mission work. We, for years and years and years, have gone to Guatemala and some of the poorest communities. And then we try to talk to our kids about why we are serving, and that the poorest of the poor in the United States have it 100 times better than the poor in places like, all kinds of places, but particularly the places we go to in Guatemala. So I like to take, I have taken groups of teenagers down there, which are much easier than adults, because they just follow along, do what you say to do. But you have to explain to them that in places like that, you don't have Social Security and insurance, or a government that cares, or health care, or trash pickup. And so it can get pretty dicey down there. And our youngest son has been adopted from there, and so our family as a whole cares a lot about this place. And the Bible says to make disciples in all of the world, not just in your community. And I want that to stick with them, that we did our little part. It wasn't a ton, but just one little kindness here and there can make the biggest difference in someone's life.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Why don't you give these ladies a hand? And Michelle, why don't you pray over specifically just all the women in our church, that the Lord bless them.